Say we love the alcohol, la 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 la. Just line 'em up and we will drink them all, la 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 la. But my mother always said, if you want to drink all day, you best start in the morning, son, 'cause that's the Irish way. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every other mother will agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every motherfucker must agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me, and you and me, and you and me. Let there be whiskey.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Nerds with Alcohol. I'm Chris,
I'm Russ.
and this is episode 286.
286 back in the virtual nerd basement. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again to a balmy yet mere preview to a hot week here in Michigan.
Actually, today's actually not bad.
Today
Tomorrow's
wasn't terrible.
supposed to be fucking nasty, and then it's supposed to be nice again for the rest of the week. I mean, it's warm, but it's not that bad. Hey, CD, 11 months. Thank you, man.
Hey, thanks, man.
Let's get at her.
It was warm today, but it wasn't ridiculous. No, but it was very hot in my studio again as usual. And then, man, I just came home and I was just like covered in sheen of sweat, and it's just ugh. Tomorrow we're already planning on a short day, I think, at work in the studio because it's supposed to be exceedingly hot, and it just drains the energy out of you. You know, That heat is just sucks your energy away.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like 95 tomorrow, and that's my golf day.
95, like they're saying, over 100 with the heat index.
Yep. Yeah, that's not going to be fun golfing. I'm going to have I've got a cooling towel in my bag that I'm going to have to just keep drenched and draped around my neck.
I think maybe you might want to maybe even call it.
I did that the last time that we had a super hot day. We're getting near the end of the golf season. It's one of those, I can only do so much.
Drive through the sprinklers.
Yeah, if they turn the sprinklers on, that'd be all right. Now, they are saying we could possibly... Originally, they were saying we were supposed to get rain all day. Now they're saying there's a slight chance of rain. I'm like... And now they're saying...
Tomorrow or today?
Tomorrow. Whenever it gets that hot, there's that chance of rain because of the atmosphere gets stirred up. But they're saying it's a slight chance in the evening. I'm like... Kind of push that up a little, could you? Mother Nature, push that up to 3 o'clock and let them cancel golf, and I'll be happy.
It looks like now my weather app is saying that there's a higher chance of rain on Thursday.
Oh yeah, Thursday now it's supposed to rain all day.
Yeah. Well.
But
awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'll hopefully survive, so that I can DM on Friday.
Yeah,
it just means definitely no drinking on the course tomorrow. It'll be, what sucks is the course that we're at, you can only buy Gatorade in their machine. They don't sell it at the bar anymore. They're like, oh no, we got it in the machine outside. So that's the only place you can get Gatorade. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. Just let me buy fucking Gatorade in the bar where I can charge it. I don't carry cash for a fucking vending machine.
The vending machines don't take your card?
Nope.
Wild.
Yeah, CD.
You'd think a high-end golf course would have a.
This ain't a high-end golf course, dude. This is this is like a shit course. I mean, not a super shit course, but it's like a meh course. CD, we do bring a cooler. We have to sneak it on because even if you bring it in empty, they make you take it back out to your car, which is absolutely ridiculous. Because if I'm buying the beer there, and I just want it to stay cold and not leak water all over my golf clubs, because the plastic bag that they put the ice and beer in doesn't hold water with a shit, and it doesn't retain any of the cold. The ice just melts almost instantly. It's just horrible. Yes.
Okay.
I have done that. I actually used to have I had a cooler that actually attached to my golf bag and nobody ever questioned it. But yeah, I actually have a cooler built into my golf bag too, where I can
that's cool.
Yeah. One of the pockets at the bottom is actually
of course you're gonna buy a golf bag that has a cooler in it.
Well, it's got a it's all plastic lined and it has a drain hole in the bottom, so if you put ice in there or anything leaks, it actually drains out. Yeah, it's really cool. I've got a bunch of golf balls in there right now, but I don't have like the Rodney Dangerfield, golf cart that actually dispenses alcohol.
You didn't get the deluxe edition with the the stereo in it and whatnot.
I do want the remote control that shoots the club up in the air so I can just catch it.
Yeah, you get no respect on the golf course. You get, I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I got a couple of things to talk about here. Jesus Christ.
But so
all right.
How was your week?
It was okay. Just crazy. Lots of work, and we're getting more people. Starting to get more people at the studio now. Some new people. Some brand new people are coming in, and just getting nuttier and nuttier. It's. I had, unfortunately, it was kind of a depressing weekend. I had a memorial on Friday, which is a little rough, and but then for an old friend from people that I met, kind of the group of friends that I met through Kelly. So it's a kind of roundabout way from around her group. People that I met through cons and stuff like that. And my old roommate Keith and the people from that group of friends. Another friend died because Bruce died last year, and he was part of that group. And then this year we lost Darren, and it was really cool actually. Keith took a bunch of Bruce's t-shirts. Bruce was a big man and he had a lot of t-shirts, and they took a bunch of them and they made plushies for a lot of his close friends. And Bruce was also out of these t-shirts. Bruce was also a big fan of the Cthulhu myths, the Lovecraft myths. So he is a big fan of Cthulhu. And so they made like 30 plushy Cthulhus. And Keith was able to give me one of them at the memorial on Friday.
That's
so
cool.
It was really nice. And then Saturday, Stella and I went to we got together with a friend that we hadn't seen in a bit, and she wanted to go to a Noir Leather kind of event at the store. She had never been to one of their parties at the store. It's kind of this light, like kind of like kinky demos and shit like that. It's not like a serious party, but it's a lot of, it was fun. But then she was telling us
chains and whips.
Not
talking Cadillacs on the nipples or anything, but
just a typical
teenage party.
Teenage orgy party. Anyway, we were there hanging out, and she was telling us about like her ex-boyfriend, who was also a pal, that they had broken up, and she said we're cool, but it just wasn't working out, and then he showed up at the event, and we're like, so I was trying to distract him a little bit so my friend could, still enjoy her first time at one of these parties, one of these evenings. And that got awkward. But then Sunday, I had rehearsal for the new play that I'm in, the new dinner theater play, the one that I did the previous one. We're doing a new one around October, and then I had to go to another memorial. We talked about it last night on Tavern Talk for Jason Sweeney. So, and on Saturday, I also went to visit my grandfather, who's essentially dying. I was just like, oh my God. It was a long fucking weekend. So,
yeah, I actually wanted to go to Sweeney's thing, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, it was out in the middle of nowhere, out in Stony Creek Park, and middle of nowhere, And it was
not the middle of nowhere, dude.
Well, it's not the middle of nowhere, but it was 26 mile, and I live at 9 mile, so it was just a bit of a hike. And it was nice though. It was a nice day. It was a beautiful day. It was a nice tribute to him. And I got a bottle of his mead that he made. Maybe I'll crack it next week for the show. I just didn't feel like drinking today.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, guys, I'm Gatorating it up tonight because I'm not feeling like getting dehydrated. It's just a long fucking weekend, so it's good to be here sitting talking with you. How was your week?
It was pretty good. I mean, it was my typical week. It was a lot of work. Been busy as hell. Still getting stuff done. Other than that, went to Royal Oak Brewing a couple times. I've got a beer that I'm actually going to be reviewing from them tonight. Got some other stuff to talk about with them. Got together with my brother-in-laws, Pete and Rich, over the weekend and played some Magic. And I'll tell you what, there was one point where so all the cousins were together. Basically, got together over at Pete's house. Pete's wife was out of town, and Rich brought the girls over, so the cousins all got together, and they were out swimming, and it's like 10:30 at night, and they're all young kids, so I mean they're up past their bedtimes at this point. But Pete went to go get them to come in, and Rich's youngest came in, and she's finishing drying herself off, and she looks over, she sees us, she's like, "You guys are playing Magic?" And Rich is like, "Yeah, we're playing Magic." She's like, "Dad, will you teach me how to play Magic?"
Just warms the nerdiness in you.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet summer child, come into our nerdy bosom, and we shall teach you our ways.
Yep. And so he basically told her, he's like, "Okay, yeah, not tonight, but maybe tomorrow when we get home, we can bring out the Magic cards and I'll start teaching you how to play." And she walked away. She's okay, and she went away, and I went, "Tomorrow Magic, soon D&D." When I was talking with,
we will corrupt her in a most wonderful way.
When Pete said his boys have been asking him about playing D&D as well.
I hope so.
And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Do it. You need some help.
You know what? Get the kids together. We'll do it. We'll do a big group thing. We'll do it. Nerds with Alcohol Kids Edition.
Nerds without alcohol.
Nerds without alcohol. We'll do you and me and the whole group. We'll bring in the kids, and we'll do extra characters and voices, and we'll make it extra fucking cool for them.
We'll make Pete run it.
We'll make Pete run it. Oh dear Lord, that'll be nothing like throwing him in the fucking deep end. Boy, that'd be good.
Renee just said nerds with juice.
Right here.
But no, because of Euchariah, we'd be nerds with juice.
Nerds with juice. I love it. Good. I love it.
Okay, we got to make that happen now. But yeah, other than that, not a whole lot going on. It was just busy trying to catch up on things. I had stuff going on every day. Over the weekend. So, but looking forward to playing D&D this week.
Yes, we are back on Friday. We kind of left we left it on a big
at the end of a big fight.
On an end of a big fight. It wasn't a cliffhanger, but it was a big fight, and yeah, it was fucking great, man. It was one of those fights too that ended with a like holy shitness, it was we were fighting and there were a couple of big moments, like a couple of big spells that would have really fucked us up. Like could have taken us all down.
Mm-hmm.
And but we had Octavian with a dispel, and we had Euchariah came in with his teleporting kick-ass spell. And
what was it? The Nightcrawler.
The Nightcrawler Yoda. The Nightcrawler Yoda.
Halfling Nut Crunch or something like
that. Nut Cruncher, something like that. Teleports around, hit, boom, teleport, boom, another hit, teleport, another hit, boom, teleport, another hit, boom. And they're not just a normal hit either. They're like backed with magic, so they're extra strong.
It's force damage. It's like 6d10 or something like that force damage on every hit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I mean, he was doing serious fucking no bullshit damage. And we were looking at that. That's actually technically it's also a ranger spell that Grimbolt won't be able to cast until he's like 13th level or 15th
17th
level or something. 17th level. Jesus H. Christ.
But he won't even be able to do that because now he's unless he stops his multi-class.
That's right.
Because he's multi-classed out. He's actually a multi-class right now.
So. Yeah, but he won't tell us what he's multi-classed in. Bastard.
No, it's part of the story, man. You don't know that like they don't know that you're a, well, they know you're a holy warrior.
I'm a paladin.
Yeah, you're a paladin.
They know I'm a paladin.
And then there's a priest and a monk and things like that. But I mean, you don't really get that. He's a nature warrior. He's not. You don't call him a ranger.
Some people do just go, I'm a ranger, in the game. Then the thing is I am good enough that I can have personal information and not act on it in character. I just want to know. It's all right. Hopefully, eventually, I'll get a good look at his
character sheet.
His character sheet. What are you drinking, man?
I am drinking. As I said, I went to Royal Oak Brewing tonight. Had some dinner and had a couple of beers. And one of the beers that I wanted to get, and specifically to do on the show tonight, I got myself a 4-pack of it. It's a new beer. It's not really a new beer, but it's newer that Jeremy just put it on. But he's done it in the past. It's called Sassy Gold. I don't have a cool can to show you or anything. I mean, that they do generic cans because they are not distributed. You can only get them at the Royal Oak Brewery. So this is one you guys will not be able to get, but I can hold it up here. It is a beautifully clear yellow beer. It has a lot of the aroma of hops. Most of them, not the citrus hops. These are more like your English type hops, is what I get from them. The beer itself is basically like a British summer ale, is the way that it was described. Okay. It is very hoppy, and I'm gonna take another sip here. It's a very refreshing beer. It is light in body. It is it's light in body and has a hoppy, dry finish. It's absolutely delicious. I love this beer. It's fantastic for this time of year when it's really warm out, and I want something cold and that's not going to make me feel even thirstier. I really like this beer a lot. I give this one 4 3/4. Bottle caps. Easy. Yep. It is absolutely fantastic. Now, another beer I had tonight, and this is one even the general public can't get. They do a beer every month. Jeremy does a beer. Jeremy's the head brewer at Royal Oak. He's been on our show. He was actually on our 100th episode that we did live at Royal Oak Brewery. He does a beer every month for the Royal Club, which Renee and I are part of. And you get to only the Royal Club members are allowed get to drink it. The one that he did today, I'm actually gonna bring it up here. Oops, nope, there it is, Royal beer. It's a birthday cake blonde, is what it's called. And this is the description that he gives: a clean, crisp English malt flavor, carefully balanced with refined flavor, elegant aroma, and smooth texture of vanilla birthday cake, and a whimsical flavor of cake batter.
It just sounds fucking weird.
As always, this tastes like a beer with a birthday cake in it, not a birthday cake with a beer in it. And I have to say that I took a sample, and I'm like, It tastes pretty good. I mean, it's good. I didn't get a lot of the birthday cake flavor. Then I actually got a glass of it, got it in my chalice, and I started drinking it. And the more I drank, the more I was starting to get that flavor. And every once in a while, it would hit, and I'm like, "Huh, that's kind of wild." But yes, it was really good. Yes, CD, I would say it's kind of like the birthday cake ice cream. It's that same type of flavor. It's that vanilla um, type of flavor, but it didn't overpower the beer, and it didn't take away from the beer itself. It was actually spectacular. It was really well done. I'd give that one 4 stars or four bottle caps. I will have that one again. I'm planning on being back up there on Saturday for the Chelsea game, and I will have at least one of those. It's not something I'm going to drink all the time. I would want to drink all the time. I wouldn't want to buy a 6-pack and sit out by the fire and drink that all night, but I would have one. It was really good.
All right. Very cool.
And also over the weekend, I bought a 6-pack when I went over to Pete's for the Magic thing. I had been drinking beer all day because I was out at the. Oh, that was one of the things I got to do last week. Was I got to go to the Rocket Mortgage Open or the Rocket Mortgage Classic, which is a PGA golf tournament that's held here in Detroit, and I got to go to that 2 out of the 4 days that it was here. So that was really cool. Got to see a lot of really good golfers. And watch them hit and be like, damn, I wish I could hit half that well. But that was really cool. But so I was out there on Saturday, had a lot of beer all day out there, and then because it was free, and then came home and got invited over to Pete's, and I'm like, I don't want beer, I want something else. So I went to the party store here by my house and found Peach Party.
Oh yeah.
So I picked that up, and I had a couple of those while I was out at Pete's. That's pretty damn good.
It is pretty good, isn't it?
I do like Tropicolata better, I think, but Peach Party I thought was good.
I think I dug Tropicolata a little bit better too.
I like the pineapple coconut better than the peach, and there was almost no blackberry that I got out of
the peach and blackberry.
Yeah, but I didn't get a whole lot of blackberry out of it when I had it. So. But I did think it was good, and it is nice to have. Yes, CD, it is refreshing. It's one of those things I could sit outside and drink that and have a good time. So, but yeah. So if you're ever in Detroit, definitely check out Royal Oak Brewery. Go in, say hi.
It's a really nice place.
Yeah, the food's great, beer's excellent. Ask for Jeremy. Tell him I sent you. Yeah. Almost got Tropicolata other day, but got Peach Basil Recorder League instead. Okay, that sounds interesting. But yeah. So yeah, what do we want to talk about first? We want to do the sad news first?
Well, let's do the sad news first. I think that is probably the hardest part. On Sunday, I was at actually Jason Sweeney's memorial. And I was perusing my phone, and some news came across my feed, basically, that Star Trek icon Nichelle Nichols passed away at the age of 89. Now that is not tragic. She lived a long life, and she was beloved, and she was trailblazing. She was, so for those who may not know the name Nichelle Nichols, she was Lieutenant Uhura in the original Star Trek. She was a trailblazer. She was an amazing woman, and she passed away, obviously 89 years old, most probably just of old age. I don't believe they've actually said exactly what it was, but I believe that her health was failing a bit. She isn't, unlike
she had a stroke in 2015.
Yeah, it's not like George Takei is still apparently extremely, and Bill Shatner is both older than her and are still very very vibrant. She did a lot of stuff, man. She was pretty incredible. She was the first interracial kiss on television between her and Captain Kirk, Bill Shatner. She was originally was going to leave the show of the Star Trek, the original series, until Martin Luther King himself, who was a fan of Star Trek, talked to her and asked her and basically said, you need to stay on this show, because it was one of the very first shows, if not the first show, that depicted Black people in a positive light in the future.
It was one of the first shows where a woman of color was on the show and wasn't a servant.
Right, exactly. She was an officer. She was a member of the crew. She was depicted in a very positive manner, and there were other people of color on the show that were also depicted in positive manner. So she was very much a big part of the conversation. It says her 1968 kiss with William Shatner's Captain Kirk on an episode of Star Trek also made history as one of the first interracial kisses aired on television. She actually didn't do a ton of stuff outside of Star Trek, from what I understand. Let's see, I'm going to pull her up on IMDb real fast.
Yeah, she did some stuff, but it wasn't a lot. She was a big spokesperson for NASA from like 77 to 2015.
Correct. She was a big deal. She did a lot with NASA.
She worked at the Playboy Mansion.
Did she really?
Yeah. Yeah, she caught the eye of Hugh Hefner at one point, and I was reading about her earlier and a lot of the stuff that she did.
She truly was just a stunning woman.
He booked her for his Chicago Playboy Club.
Yep. Looks like she was married twice. She has one child, Kyle Johnson.
Yeah, and that person she was married to for less than a year. Kyle's father.
Oh, okay.
She also she was actually involved with Gene Roddenberry for a short time.
Yeah. Well, Gene made his way around the crew. I mean, he was kind of infamous for being a bit of a ladies' man.
Well, I guess what it is she was involved with him, and then found out that he was also involved with Nichelle, who she was friends with.
Majel Barrett.
Well, but she had a different name at the time. It wasn't just Majel Barrett, but she was known as Majel Barrett. But so she said nope, and she ended things and with him, and then Nichelle stayed with him and wound up going on to marry him.
Well, that's a juicy bit of little bit of tidbit of trivia there. Yeah, she was a member of the board of directors of the National Space Institute and has worked with NASA and has produced, directed, and starred on a film for the Smithsonian Institute's National Air and Space Museum. Let's see. I'm just looking at some of the... she was suffering from severe short-term memory loss as a complication of advanced dementia.
Yep.
Because of her stroke, I guess from
it was a minor stroke, but then she was also diagnosed with dementia, and that's when she announced her retirement from conventions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. I just like I said, it was one of those situations where this isn't tragic, but it was still a bit of a bummer, because we just didn't really it just was, I don't know. It's just one of those things, I was always admired her such a great deal, actually I'm looking at her filmography. She's got 69 credits, which isn't, this isn't nothing. I mean, it's not Chris Walken, who's got like over 300 or whatever, but she did appear in
She did a lot of TV.
A number of things. She did a lot of TV. Star Trek First Frontier. What is that?
It's a fan-made film.
It's a fan-made film. She did a little bit of fan-made stuff too. Unbelievable Space Command, Surge of Dawn. So a lot of things that were just Sharknado 5, Global Swarming, Renegades, the TV series.
She was in an episode of Star Trek Prodigy that just came out.
Yeah. Starship Excelsior podcast series. So yeah, she did a bunch of things. She did a bunch of voiceover work in her later years. Video game. She was in Heroes. She was on Heroes, so a number of episodes of Heroes.
Batman,
so was
Batman the animated series.
Yeah. The Simpsons, of course, because everybody's done The Simpsons at some point, and Futurama.
Gargoyles, which is almost all Star Trek.
Yep. Yeah, that was almost, That's crazy, wasn't it? How much Star Trek fans were in there? Spider-Man the animated series, Gargoyles, The Adventures of Captain Zoom in Outer Space. But she is still probably best known for working on Star Trek.
Yep.
So it will be. It's sad to see her go, but she did have a very full life and a wonderful life, and I just thank her for everything that she did. So
may she
toasting with Gatorade.
Yep. So may she sail among the stars forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
refreshing.
Yes. So with that, on a completely side note, or a complete change of topic here, I watched the first episode of Harley Quinn.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Season 3.
How is it?
Dude, it picks up where season 2 left off and fucking keeps running. It goes beyond. It is only on HBO CD. It takes what they did last season and turns it up another notch. It is a very wrong show, but it's hilarious. I laughed out loud at a couple of different things. That I think it's going to be another solid season. I'm looking forward to it.
Now it's they've only put out the one episode so far.
They have 3 episodes. They put out 3 episodes.
Awesome.
And then I think from there it'll be 1 episode every Friday.
Well, fucking cool, man. I've been meaning to get I was meaning to try and find some time to get into it this weekend, but I didn't get a chance. Or because it opened this weekend.
Yeah.
Or they premiered this weekend. So
yeah, and it's the it's Harley and Ivy's
Hot Girl Summer or something like that.
No, it's what the hell is the name of the tour? It's bothering me now. I know it. The hell is it called? I'm seeing something here. James Gunn MCU joke that had to be cut from season 3. Yeah, I think it's like the Eat Bang Kill.
Oh, that's what it is. Something
tour.
Like
I think it's the Eat Bang Kill tour. Is what they're calling it. It's basically her and Ivy's honeymoon type of thing. Because through the whole first episode, she's like, "It's our 8th-day anniversary," and she's like, "It's our 9th-day anniversary. Here, I'm giving you this." And so like it's like every day is a special day for
her. Well, the first 2 seasons were absolutely amazing and irreverent, and I adored them. I actually went so far as to buy the Blu-ray set that actually, I think it's up there, has both first and second, both of the 2 seasons together. Let me see.
So yeah, it is really good though. There are some guest appearances that are actually pretty funny.
Of course there is.
And things I didn't expect. References to other things. It's Yeah, the first episode's called Harley.
Harley?
Harley, yeah.
Harley.
It's their celebrity name.
Damn it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, so in the first episode, James Gunn is actually in it as James Gunn.
Isn't that part of like the opening sequence or something like that?
No, it's a little later, but yeah, it's
okay. There. Sorry. All right. Back in frame.
But yeah, I actually, that's what I was looking up, was to see if it actually was James Gunn doing it, and it is.
Well, that's pretty awesome. I mean, the fact that he's in it, that's pretty cool. Dude, the Harley Quinn cartoon fucking blew me away. It was so incredible. Some of the funniest shit I think I've ever seen animated. And I mean, damn, dude. Yeah, I mean, just some of those jokes were incredible. You know, some of the things that they did, and it wasn't even just all Harley too. I mean, like Clayface and everything else. Well,
I mean, Alan Tudyk is doing Clayface, so that's just amazing to begin with. Ron Funches as King Shark is just fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I love everybody in there. Gordon is running for mayor now.
Yeah, and that's Elliot Stabler from Law and Order SVU. That's
Chris Maloney.
Chris Maloney. So I mean, that fucking blows me away, dude. It's so funny. And that's the other thing too. Not only is it funny and irreverent, there's some real serious like character development in it too. I mean, they do some amazing stuff, things that you would not expect.
Oh, Steel Kill Bang tour.
Steel Kill Bang, there it is. Jesus, man, it's just really amazing stuff. I remember watching it just open mouth, just a mouth agape at the shit that they were doing on that show.
Well, yeah, where it starts off, you'll get a kick out of it because it brings in soups.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm definitely, maybe I'll catch a couple episodes tonight before I.
Yeah, I'm hoping to watch the next two on Thursday, which will be the next time I have a chance. It was on DC Universe CD.
Right. It was originally on DC Universe, and then DC Universe got bought by HBO Max.
Well,
got moved over to Warner Brothers and HBO.
Warner Brothers bought HBO.
Right. And so then they moved everything over to HBO Max.
Kite Man for the win.
Dude, Kite Man was hilarious too, man. I just couldn't get over it, man. Just the entire thing. The fact how they came together and made this incredible cartoon.
Yep.
Really spectacular.
Yeah. And there's going to be a spinoff of Harley.
I hadn't heard this.
Yeah. Nooners. The bar that they go to.
Yeah.
It's going to be a spinoff that's based on the bar.
No shit.
Yeah. Where all the supervillains go.
Where all the villains go to.
Yep.
All right. Fucking awesome.
Because Kite Man is when you run out of ideas or just want comic relief.
Dude, they've done some really fucking funny shit with Kite Man. I mean, his thing is like his phrase now is basically, I'm Kite Man. Fuck yeah. You know, it's just like they even did that in the comic book. They even it was so funny. They were like, because Kite Man has always been one of Batman's dumbest fucking villains, right? He's a complete dipshit. And I mean, what the fuck? He flies around on a glider shaped like a kite. Stupid.
Yep.
The
red shirt.
They even introduced, like I said, they introduced some of the aspects of that character into Batman to the point where even Batman kind of recruited him as like not really a partner or stuff, but he was like, it was almost like a work release. He's like, I'll tell you what, I'll help you out with your court cases or whatever. I'll put a good word in for you, but you're going to do something for me. And Kite Man's like, okay. And, you know, he's like, you know, so anyways,
but yes, so far really it is fantastic.
All right, so to move on, let's see. Let me get back. We got a bunch of quick hits here.
Let me do one thing real quick here.
All right.
I do want to say and I know she's not watching because she's not old enough to watch this shit yet, but someday she may be seeing this, and I want to say happy birthday to Kenna, my granddaughter. She is 2 years old today.
Oh, that's awesome.
So happy birthday, Kenna. I love you. And if you're seeing this when you're older, know that Dajo loved you.
Know that what?
Dajo.
Dajo?
Yeah, it's an Irish grandfather name.
I see. So let me see here. We got a bunch of things, a bunch of quick hits. I did find out that apparently the Arrowverse is officially coming to an end soon.
This was something I was going to bring up.
They are still going to have some of the more tangential shows like Superman and Lois and Stargirl, but those aren't as directly attached to the Arrowverse.
Oh, yeah. I just saw that, and I was going to bring it up, that Flash is ending in 2023.
Yeah, exactly. The Flash is ending, officially coming to an end. With season 9, it's going to be a shortened season, similar to like the Arrow's final season, which was like 7 or 8 episodes. But it will have 13 episodes. The final episode, 13 episodes, significantly fewer than all the previous seasons. It first aired in 14 after Grant Gustin's character, the Flash, appeared in Arrow in 13.
Yep. In all honesty, that was my favorite of any of the shows I've seen.
The Flash was great. The Flash was really good. And I liked Supergirl too because it had a similar flavor.
Yeah, I never got into Supergirl, but I need to get back to it.
It was good. It was a pretty good show. 9 seasons is a pretty goddamn long time for a superhero show. I mean, it's good. It's a good stretch for any show, really, but particularly for a genre show like
it's longer than Arrow.
Longer than Arrow. Longer than any of the other CW shows. I mean, in all honesty, I think people are starting to get a little fatigued at this for the Arrowverse, so maybe it would be a good idea to maybe scale it back a little bit or scale it down. I mean, Naomi only lasted, I think, 2 seasons, maybe 1, I can't remember. And Stargirl is still doing okay. It did 2 seasons, and I believe it has been renewed for a 3rd. But Superman and Lois is doing pretty well too. But still, I think we were getting a bit of a glut of those shows. I think it was just a little much.
Yeah, and I will say this.
Batwoman too, that is.
Yeah, one of the things I think that made the Flash so good was that Grant was so good as Barry.
Yeah. Yes, he was, absolutely.
And I think he was a fantastic casting as Barry. Overall. Yep. I just think he was incredible in that role.
Yeah, he was. I think I very much so. In fact, because there has been so much news and so much drama about the Flash movie version, that there are a lot of people are calling for him to take over.
Well, they wanted him in the first place. A lot of people did. I know I did. I'm like, why not just use him in the movie?
I don't think the movie people were like all that interested because they wanted him specifically for the shows.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But the fans wanted him to play Barry Allen in the movies.
They absolutely did. But instead we got Ezra Miller, who is apparently lost his mind.
Yeah.
So
lost their mind.
So their mind. Thank you. Lost their mind. So guys, now is the time to get caught up on the Flash. If not, you can wait till next season when the show is completely done and catch up later on and watch it the whole thing.
My problem was that I was trying to watch the Arrowverse in order, so I would watch a season of Arrow, and then I would watch, I watched like the first couple seasons of Arrow, then I watched the first season of Flash, then I watched the season of Arrow, then I watched the season of Flash, then I went to DC or the Legends of Tomorrow, and that's where I got stuck.
And then you watch Supergirl.
No, I got stuck on DC Legends of Tomorrow. I only got like 5 episodes in, and I haven't gone back.
Yeah, I that's what I've been doing too. I'm currently working on, although I've been kind of taking a break, I'm currently working on, I think, season 2 of Black Lightning. I think that's where I'm at.
Oh, and I've done
And
some where when I know that there's a crossover episode coming up, like I'll watch Arrow up
mhm,
until the crossover with Flash, and then I watch Flash up until that same crossover, and then I watch the crossover episodes.
right. Yeah. It's confusing. It's confusing as hell, man. But it's worth it. I mean, the shows overall have been very entertaining in my opinion. I think for the most part they've been pretty entertaining. So uh there have been a few moments where I'm like, oh, for God's sake. But overall I've enjoyed them a great deal. So I will be sad to see it go completely. Let's see. Dwayne Johnson has major plans to expand the Black Adam DC universe. So apparently,
Of course
the
he
DC
does.
universe is changing. Fresh off the success of DC League of Super Pets at the
He's going to
box
try
office.
and he's going to try and be the new Superman. He's going to try and turn Black Adam into the new supers. New supes.
There is a post-credit scene in the League of Super Pets, which kind of has Dwayne Johnson, where the Black Adam shows up with his dog. Superman and
well, he's doing Crypto, isn't he?
Right. Yeah. Superman and Crypto are walking. They're are going for a walkie, and then Black Adam. Or no, actually, they're playing fetch with a Batman plushie, and Black Adam shows up with his dog, and apparently they have a little bit of a and Dwayne Johnson does the voice of Black Adam, his Black Adam's dog. And Crypto, so it's very, very meta.
Very Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, but on Instagram, Johnson detailed the Super Pets post-credit scene, in which, spoiler alert, Black Adam and his dog Anubis show up and meet John Krasinski's Superman, alongside his intention to grow both franchises. So he is looking to continue on with this show. I mean, apparently the League of Super Pets movie is doing very well. Which doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, it came out this weekend, I believe.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
I actually kind of want to see it.
Yeah, me too. It grossed 40 million over the weekend. Pretty
Not great,
solid.
but it's a
solid opening for an animated film. Particularly since there hasn't been a DC film released in animation. An animated DC film released in the theaters, not in years. The closest we've come to it was when they released the Dark Knight Returns on screens for like a weekend, the animated version. So, and a new Black Adam trailer. That debuted at SDCC, and I think we talked about it. So, Dwayne Johnson's got plans, and I'm like, I'm about it. If Dwayne Johnson wants to lead the charge, then I'll let him.
Hey, him and Zach Levi, I think, could do it.
Absolutely.
Make it Shazam and Black Adam they're gonna be the ones that lead the DC universe.
Exactly. So it turns out that Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, may not be the last Marvel Phase 4 release after all. We're getting a surprise MCU epilogue. And that's going to most probably be, I believe, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. It's going to be the epilogue to Phase 4, which makes Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania the first official Phase 5 project. So the Holiday Special, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special that director James Gunn did produce and direct and whatnot, that'll be coming up this holiday season. It's a TV special, not a feature-length film on Disney Plus. It is part of MCU canon, and it contains some important new elements in the Guardians story. So we're going to get that before we get Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which comes out next year. But I think that looks like it should be pretty funny. You got something, or shall I keep going?
One of the other things, speaking of DC and Warner Brothers, they are reportedly shelving the Batgirl movie.
I was just going to do that next. You read my mind, brother. It took $90 million to film this film. And
they're already done filming.
Yeah.
And yet the new CEO of
Brendan Fraser was playing one of the villains. He was playing Firefly.
Right. And Michael Keaton was playing Batman.
Michael Keaton was in this?
Yes.
Well, I know Michael Keaton's going to be playing Batman in the Flash movie. Are you sure that he was in this?
Yes. J.K. Simmons was Commissioner Gordon, Michael Keaton as Batman, and Brendan Fraser as Firefly.
Wow, yep, you're right.
And then Ivory Aquino was playing Alyssa Yo, Batgirl's best friend.
Of course, and Leslie Grace as Batgirl.
Yes. And they were done filming, and the new CEO, because now they're, what is it, Warner Brothers Discovery or something like that? Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav is reportedly prioritizing theatrical films instead of projects direct for streaming, because this was going to be an HBO Max film. And so he's saying,
why would they?
I don't get it.
Yeah. The Hollywood Reporter claims Batgirl's production cost had exceeded its roughly $80 million budget by almost $10 million. For reference, Robert Pattinson's The Batman was budgeted at $185 million. So while $90 million is nothing to sniff at, Batgirl was always intended to be a smaller budget movie compared to some of DC's biggest hitters. Why would he just fucking shelve something that they just spent almost $100 million on?
Yeah, I don't get it. This guy doesn't have my my confidence at this point.
However, Deadline reports that the project didn't gel with the company's new strategy for DC movies and HBO Max. The studio reportedly been having conversations recently about which movies would premiere in theaters or on HBO Max and which would be shelved entirely, and said that Batgirl simply didn't make the cut. That's incredible to me, though. The fact that they spent the time, the money, the effort, everything.
Yep. If you already
and then they're going to put it on the shelf.
Spend a little bit more to finish it up and put it out. At least you make something. You shelve it, you make nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that just boggles my mind, man.
I was actually looking forward to that film.
Yeah, so was I. They were saying good things. You know, I mean, some of the initial stuff they were saying good things. I don't know, man.
It's also shelving Scoob Holiday Haunt.
Yeah, I heard that too. I'm not all that bummed about that for sure. Man, that's fucking fucked up, dude. That's fucked up.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like the direction that Warner Brothers is about to take with some of its stuff with DC. I'm still not sold on that DC and Warner Brothers, or that Warner Brothers really knows what the fuck to do with the superhero properties they have.
I agree. I mean, it's so hit or miss, you know. Like Wonder Woman their first Wonder Woman movie was fantastic. Yep. Loved it. The Aquaman movie, first Aquaman movie was great. I'm guessing that the second one will be really good. The Shazam movie, absolutely fantastic. Loved it. I think Black Adam is going to be killer. I have a really good feeling about Black Adam. Pattinson's Batman, it was okay. It was good.
It was okay. My thing, though, here's the thing. Those are great as standalone movies.
Right.
They're not gelling into a universe.
Correct. Because they didn't have, I mean, they tried to create, something using Zack Snyder's vision, and they just couldn't get all the other directors to kind of gel together.
Mm-hmm.
And then Snyder had his problems, and he had problems with the studio, and his tragedy with his daughter and everything else. And then, of course, then Joss Whedon came in and fucked everything up. And with Justice League. And then it was like, man, it's just too bad that they didn't have like somebody like Jon Favreau and Kevin Feige and whatnot, and Robert Downey Jr., honestly, at the beginning, like Marvel did, to kind of set the tone and set the course. They've got a good captain writing this ship, and in Kevin Feige, and they just did not have that with DC. I mean, Man of Steel too. Man of Steel was excellent. It was a very good BVS.
I hated the fight scenes in there because they were those quick fight scenes, and I hate those. I hated them in the Transformers. I hate them in the. And I understand. Okay, they're Kryptonians. They fight really fast. They move really fast. So that's what the fight scenes were supposed to be, was them just beating the shit out of each other at super speed.
Right.
But you know what? I don't watch it super speed, so slow it the fuck down for us normal, or us mere mortals.
I get that, but I mean, I still really enjoyed Zack Snyder's kind of take on Krypton. I enjoyed his.
I've fallen asleep every time I've watched. The 2 times that I've tried to watch Man of Steel, I've fallen asleep.
That's too bad. It is still a really good movie, and I think Henry Cavill was arguably. I mean, he's one of the best Superman.
I like Cavill.
He was really great. And I just, like I said, I think they just lost their way. And I'd love to see them right the ship eventually, but I just don't know how they're going to do it, man. Because the Flash movie, I think it could be cool, but Ezra Miller has tainted it now.
Oh yeah, he definitely has.
I think what we're seeing coming up, like I said, Black Adam,
Superman Returns. Why you even got to bring that up, CD?
Superman Returns could have been good if they had
a script.
If the script had been better, but I think and it fell short. I think it could have been good. Brandon Routh wasn't bad. He wasn't a bad Superman.
No, I like him as Superman.
But he was essentially just playing Christopher Reeves.
Yes. Which is what he was supposed to be doing.
Right.
It was supposed to be an extension. It was supposed to be a sequel to the Christopher Reeves movie.
It was a true sequel to Superman 2.
Yep.
And it was supposed to take place before Superman 3 and 4. So, Kevin Spacey playing Lex Luthor. That was basically just the Gene Hackman Lex Luthor. And I didn't hate him like that either for that particular kind of Lex. But
I just thought it was a horrible script.
It just wasn't great. It wasn't great. There were so many
holes and like, I'm gonna fly this big chunk of kryptonite up in the space. No,
yeah,
you're gonna lose your powers before you can even get close to doing that.
It. Right. It bothered the hell out of me, that one. I just don't know. I mean, that's the thing. I'm looking up at my Arrowverse DVDs and stuff, and they've been able to do really good with the animated stuff. They've been able to do really well with the TV shows for the most part, but they just have lost their way with the movies, and I just don't know how they're going to do it. Like I said, I hope that the future ones are good. We've got Black Adam coming up in October. We've got in December Shazam. We've also got in next year we've got Aquaman 2.
Yep.
And the Flash. I'm hoping that these are going to end up being.
I'm really looking forward to Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
I will go see Black Adam. I want to see it. I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I'm kind of also trying to taper my expectations of that one. Shazam, I'm going in with high expectations because of how good the first movie was.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
For sure. That's actually one of my favorite movies, superhero movies, period. And definitely probably my favorite of all of the DC movies. And I loved Aquaman too, but I think Shazam was better.
I don't know if it was better, but I certainly enjoyed it a great deal. It says Electric Ronin was talking about the WB Discovery merger also ended Snowpiercer, which is too bad. I hear Snowpiercer. I haven't had a chance to watch it.
I haven't watched that at all.
I was going to watch it when it was, maybe when it's done, and then.
Well, guess what? It's done now.
Now it's done, and we can watch it. It had ripples in the CW, which are trying to sell off, which is why most of the Arrowverse was canceled. Yeah, what a bummer, dude. It's just sad when they do that kind of thing. They just can't. I don't know, man. Well, we'll see. I mean, like I said, maybe just the best we're going to see from them, from that kind of from the DC universe, is the animated stuff. Which I'm not mad at. I just picked up the new Green Lantern animated film, which features Jon Stewart. Oh, hi, guys.
Just don't make the suit animated or green.
Or green. Right, buddy. All right. So speaking of that, it looks like Ben Affleck has been confirmed that he will be returning as Batman in Aquaman 2. Jason Momoa has confirmed this. So Warner Brothers Studios.
I thought he was done.
Affleck on set. From what I understood, he was, but my guess is that, because there was also rumors that
if we put another 0, do you do it? No. Okay. How about one more 0?
There was also
how about one more 0?
There was also rumors that he was supposed to show up in the new Flash movie too, as an alternative Batman. So that he's going to be. So we're going to have Michael Keaton as Batman, but also Ben Affleck.
The Flash movie is so tainted for me now that it's one of those I'm torn. Because Flash is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah. Yeah, it says Affleck will also play the character in The Flash, which is due out in theaters June 23rd of next year. It's teaming up with Michael Keaton's version of the superhero. Because we're going to be dealing with the multiverse.
Yeah.
The Flash movie.
I still want a Batman Beyond movie where Michael Keaton plays Bruce.
I agree. That would be baller. I think it'd be really fucking great. So, but yeah, there's like a picture on Momoa's Instagram with the two of them together, and he, Affleck is in this dark gray suit, and looking like Bruce Wayne. So, who knows, man? Who knows? So it could be cool.
Yeah. So Electric Ronan said that the personal connections between the actors brought him back.
Oh, most probably, yeah.
Affleck is a very personable guy, from what I've heard.
Yeah. And so is Momoa. I mean, Momoa is the kind of guy that anybody will be like, oh, fuck, I'll do a movie with that guy. He's fucking cool as fuck.
Dude, I want to have a beer with him. Just
you've mentioned that.
I've seen him drink, and I want to have a beer with Momoa. I've met him walking down the street. He's a really cool guy.
Right. I met him at briefly at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And just not even at his table, just walking by. I looked at him. I'm like, wow, what's up, man? And he's like, hey, how you doing? And kept walking. I mean, he's a big dude, but he's not as big as you'd think he is.
He's 6'3".
He's 6'3", yeah,
and he's broad, and he's built, big. But
right,
yeah.
Well, like we've talked about before, he's a big dude, but in like on Game of Thrones, they filmed him to look even bigger than he actually looked. So,
well, and let's face it, in all the scenes he was with Emilia Clarke, she is fucking tiny.
Yeah, she's an itty bitty person. So yeah, it did make her look also extra small and him extra big.
Yeah.
Shut this door. So moving on, let me say here, we got a couple of things. Oh, here we go.
Here we go. You went Southern.
Here is something. Well, we also briefly, Will Smith finally addressed his Oscar slap.
Yeah,
recently on a YouTube video. If you guys want to check it out, it's actually pretty cool. It's him sitting down and addressing to the camera and apologizing to Chris Rock and talking about how awful he feels and apologizing to everybody, his fellow nominees and everybody at the Oscars and everything. So if you want to see somebody, like I believed it. It looked believable to me that he was like really felt bad about it. It's an interesting little video there. You be the judge. You decide how you want to feel. I think he feels like, yep, he fucked up and he's sorry about it.
Mm-hmm.
But here we have how to watch the Defenders saga in order on Disney Plus. So if you guys want to go back, because we did get the news that next year there will be a new Daredevil TV show with 18 episodes featuring Charlie Cox as Daredevil, the guy who was playing Daredevil in the Netflix shows. Now, the next Netflix shows all got moved over to Disney Plus. So you can check them out there. If you want to watch them in order, now they do all take place after the original Avengers film, the first Avengers movie. But they, I think, yeah, here we go. So Daredevil season 1, then Jessica Jones season 1, then Daredevil season 2, then Luke Cage season 1, then Iron Fist season 1, although some people would say you could skip it. Then The Defenders, which was the 6-episode combined show.
Mm-hmm.
Punisher season 1, then Jessica Jones season 2, Luke Cage season 2, Iron Fist season 2, then Daredevil season 3, Punisher season 2, Jessica Jones season 3, and then you could watch Spider-Man No Way Home, which is a non-Defenders saga movie because it has Daredevil in it.
Yeah.
And then Hawkeye, which is a non-Defenders saga show. So they said they kind of slid those in because they were the similar. Oh, because the Kingpin was in Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And it's going to be showing up again.
Yeah. Hey, Auntie. In answer to your question, there's no word on if or when Spider-Man's going to come to Disney Plus. Sony still owns it, so right now there's no way for Disney to actually put it on Disney Plus.
Right.
That is the biggest problem with the MCU right now, is that those movies are not able to be on Disney Plus with all the others. I know that there's been talk, but there's been no movement whatsoever that I've seen as far as Sony giving up any of the rights. I think they're on Prime or Star. I think Stars has them right now.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I think that's who Sony's partnered with. But yeah, I think that's where we can, because I have seen them on a streaming service, but I think it's Stars. But yeah, there is no talk of Spider-Man ever coming to Disney Plus, actually, at this point. Which
sucks, because they are a part, the Spider-Man movies, the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies are all part of the MCU.
Yep.
So it does, I mean, if you want to binge the MCU, you got to try and find those Spider-Man movies outside. I mean, the movies he's featured in, like Endgame and that kind of thing, yes.
Yeah.
Civil War, yes, he's in those kind of things. But those
Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home
are not, which is a drag, because they are very much a big, parts of the MCU.
Yep.
Bums me out. Let's see. But anyway, so if you guys want to check that out, you can find the list, this list on the Total Film, on Total Film, which is a part of the GamesRadar.com website. How to watch the Defenders saga in order on Disney Plus. You know what I might just do is, let me see if I can just copy this, and I can maybe put it in a post on our page.
Okay.
Also, the Harry Potter movies. If you're big fans of the Harry Potter films, they are all leaving HBO Max. They are going to be going exclusively to the Peacock. So if you want to stream Harry Potter, it's going to be on the NBC Universal's streaming service, the Peacock. The titles, they were under a 12-month deal starting in September of 21, and it ends this month. So they will be exclusively on the Peacock. For those of you who are not that still want to watch them after all of her turfiness.
Yeah, well, I just read what CD put. Yeah. LOL, the cock butt Potter to try and get some subs. It's not going to help. Actually, what it is they're partnered with Universal, so that's what it is. It's just like all of Star Trek has left Netflix and is now on Paramount Plus.
Right. Yes, all of the Star Trek stuff is. I think you can still see a few things. They haven't completely left, but I don't know. Maybe
Deep Space Nine is completely gone. I know that.
Okay, maybe they did finally pull all of them from Netflix now. But yeah, Star Trek. Yeah, pretty much the only place you can stream Star Trek without paying for it is on Paramount Plus. I believe you can stream them on Amazon, but you gotta either pay for it, or you can. I think you can also get Paramount Plus through Amazon, which allows you to then watch anything on that through your Amazon account. I think you can.
Let's see. Sandman starts this Friday.
Oh man, really?
I think it's Friday. Well, I should say Sandman doesn't just start. It's Netflix. So Sandman drops this Friday.
Right. Exactly.
So they'll drop all of the episodes. I'm looking forward to that. It looks spectacular. I hope it is as good as it looks. I have not read the graphic novel. It is high on my list of ones I want to read. But I have not ever purchased it and read it.
I've read some Sandman books over the years. Because I've said this before on when it comes to comic books, I am a tights and flights guy. I appreciate superheroes more so. And the more alternative stuff is really not as much my jam. But that being said, the Sandman comics are absolute works of art. And if you are
I'm a Neil Gaiman
that
fan.
kind of story, right? If you're into that kind of storytelling, if you like Neil Gaiman, definitely check that out and check this out. I am definitely going to be checking it out. I think it's going to be incredible.
Yeah. So I think that I think it's the 5th or 6th. 5th, I think it is. Because I believe it's Friday.
Yeah. I am definitely going to be checking it out. It's going on my list. I don't know if I'm going to get to it right away because I still got to watch Stranger Things, and I guess I'm really trying to push that one up to the forefront. I want to finish.
You got like 2 seasons of Stranger Things, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I want to finish up Umbrella Academy, and then I want to watch.
Dude, you haven't finished Umbrella Academy yet?
I'm busy, man.
You need to finish that so we can talk about it because it was a hell of a season.
I'll try and see if I can finish it up this week. I can squeeze some in this weekend and stuff. But yeah, I mean the special effects I'm seeing, the look of the characters. I mean the actor they've got playing Sandman, playing Morpheus, looks really great. So looking forward to this a lot.
Yep. So do you have anything else?
Well, a couple of things real quick. And then I figured we could finish up our 100 best TV shows.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring. That's why I'm like, do you have anything else? Because I'm actually out of things that I actually had to talk about.
Let's see. Give me a second here. Man, sorry about that. Let me just check this and all right, all the Harry Potter. The Tomb Raider movie sequel is reportedly dead, and a complete reboot is planned. They had the previous Tomb Raider movie that they had cast Alicia Vikander in it. I didn't see it. It didn't do well. I was planning on getting around to watching it on one of the streaming services, but it just did not do very well. I think they were going to probably try a second one and see if that was able to reinvigorate it, but apparently no director, writers, or actors have been attached to any potential reboot. Whoever wins the rights to Tomb Raider, though, will be buoyed by the recent success of video game adaptations Uncharted and Sonic the Hedgehog 2, both grossing over $400 million at the worldwide box office. Pretty good. A separate Tomb Raider animated Netflix series starring Haley Atwell is still in the works. All right. So there's that. Also, the Last of Us TV show will explore different avenues not seen in the games. So really looking forward to the Last of Us TV show, which is coming coming next year. If you've played the game, Last of Us, apparently recently the Russo brothers said, who directed Infinity War and Endgame, had stated that they felt that The Last of Us Part 2 is one of the greatest video games ever made. So Bella Ramsey, who plays Ellie in the upcoming The Last of Us series, stated that the HBO series will be very respectful to the game and will bring a new life to the story. So something coming up that let's see, it's expected to release in early 23. Also, a remake of the original 13 game titled The Last of Us Part 1 is set to release on September 2nd. Now, this is the original game, but they've basically just gone through and they've redone the entire game in more modern, in the more modern specs and whatnot, so that it looks more like a modern game.
I gave up on the game, CD. He said the first game was good, but not the best. I gave up on it because it got to the point where I couldn't get past a certain point, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm done.
I think there was one point when there's only one point that I actually lowered the difficulty level to easy so I could get through it. And then afterwards I raised it back up to normal because it was I think I spent 2 hours trying to get through this one section and I just couldn't do it.
There's one section that I've spent probably 8 hours on, and that's why I quit. And it was quit or throw the controller through my big screen. And I'm like,
it's a hard game, man. It's a hard game, but I do feel like that the story is one of the best. It was one of the best stories I've ever played through in a game, and I still haven't played the second part. I have it sitting on my shelf. I kind of almost want to. I was originally planning on playing through the first part again, and then because it's been so long, and then playing through part 2. And,
fuck that! Play Forbidden West.
Yeah. Now I might wait on that one and for when they release the remake and just get that.
Forbidden West.
I know. I do have an article about Spelljammer, but I think it would get into a little bit too much. Like we'd be talking about it too much, and then
we're already at like an hour and 15 minutes. So
right, I'll hold that off. Let's finish off this list of the 100.
Do the West.
100 best television shows of all time, guys. We left off at number 20, which was Curb Your Enthusiasm.
A show I've never seen.
Never really watched. I've watched a few episodes over the years. They were entertaining, but it were never an episode. There were never shows that I was just like. It was never a show I was like super into. Number 19, we have Hannibal. Trying to outdo
either.
13 to 15. It was a shorter-lived show, but trying to outdo Anthony Hopkins' famous turn as the manipulative cannibal may have seemed like a fool's errand, but Mads Mikkelsen was more than up for the challenge. The eerily beautiful show is frightening, but it's the elaborate and artificially fetishized gore plus a subtle sense of humor that makes it stand out from every other thriller. I heard wonderful things about this show, and that Mads Mikkelsen was incredible.
I heard it was good, but I'm surprised it's at 19.
Yeah, me too. I'm surprised it is that high. But it was one of those shows I kind of always wanted to get around to because I've always loved Anthony Hopkins, and I've always loved his turn as Hannibal Lecter. I thought that the movies featuring that character, the movies featuring that character were just absolutely scary as fucking awesome. So,
considering he's behind glass in prison the entire movie, and he's the scariest thing in that movie, not the serial killer.
Well, he does escape at one point.
Well, he escapes at the end, but I mean, the spoiler. Sorry for a 30-year-old movie.
It's a 30-year-old movie.
But yeah, he is so much scarier than Buffalo Bill.
Oh, absolutely is. And then in the follow-ups like Red Dragon and
I never saw Red Dragon or Hannibal.
They were solid. They were very fucking scary and very good. So worth the watch. Absolutely. I'd say any of the movies featuring Hannibal Lecter were solid films, really. There was one movie there was a movie that predated all of them that actually had Brian Cox as Hannibal Lecter. And, Mindhunter. So let's moving on. Number 18, from 16 to 22, we have the show This Is Us. While late 2010s TV shows were characterized by things like zombies, dragons, epic battles, and superheroes, This Is Us is a more down-to-earth yet equally compelling drama. The series follows a group of people who share the same birthday and shows how their lives are different but share similarities. Optimistic and heartstrong tugging, it makes you care for each character in a surprisingly short amount of time.
Yeah. Now,
did not care about this show.
I did not watch this show, but everything I heard about this show, and as much as I heard about it, I'm surprised it's as high as 18.
You figured it would be
lower.
Lower.
It would be down in the top 10.
I've always heard it was really good, but
everyone I know that watched this show loved it. I agree with CD though. Not my show. I don't need to cry.
Yeah.
You know.
So number 17, we have The Twilight Zone, the original Twilight Zone from 1959 to 1964. Rod Serling's anthology series made weird mainstream and influenced generations of science fiction and horror fans and writers. From everyday Joes trying to outsmart death to a gremlin on the wing of an airliner, The Twilight Zone is always crammed with ideas and boasts a fearsome writing staff, including sci-fi giants like Richard Matheson. But chief among them was Serling himself. By the end of the show's original run, he'd penned nearly 100 episodes. It was a groundbreaking show. Twilight Zone was one of those shows that made sci-fi, mixed sci-fi and horror brilliantly, made things scary. I remember watching that show as a kid and being absolutely terrified. Absolutely terrified.
It depended on the episode, though. Some of them were way scarier than others.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
the
some
Billy
of them were a
Mummy
little
one
funnier.
was just the Billy Mummy kid one was just fucking scary as fuck.
I think it's pronounced Billy Mummy.
Mummy, whatever.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's that one was scary. The gremlin on the Shatner
How to Serve Humans.
Yeah, that was good. But the Shatner one, the episodes he was in. I mean, the movie, the Twilight Zone movie was all of the skits in the Twilight Zone movie were based on episodes of the show.
Yep.
And that movie creeped the fuck out of me when I was a kid.
Yep.
And I mean, hell, 3 people actually died in the making of that film. It almost destroyed Robert Zemeckis' career. So it was Twilight Zone was really something else. It was it's really worth being up here in the top 20. Number 16, we have Battlestar Galactica from year 04 to 09. And we're talking about the remake here, not the original.
That's the remake.
And in all actuality, I would say that the remake is one of those situations where the remake was superior to the original.
It was great until the last episode and a half.
Right. It ended very odd and very
disappointing. Or actually, even the last half of the last episode, they could have cut out.
It's ex-Star Trek scribe Ronald D. Moore, dirtied down and reimagined of the glittery 1970s series, proved one of the high watermarks of TV. It said Battlestar is the sci-fi program for people who don't like sci-fi. It's not hard to see why. It grandly jettisons the prosthetics porn of Star Trek and Stargate and cribs its narrative style more from the class of HBO than its geek-chasing stablemates. Even Stephen King wrote of it, this is a beautifully written show driven by character rather than effects. And it's absolutely correct.
Yep.
It is an incredibly well done show.
It was. I truly enjoyed that show. I didn't watch it when it was on, but I did watch it when I could catch it on streaming. Once I was able to stream it, I watched the entire thing.
I've been meaning to restream it because it's
brilliant. I bought the first 2 seasons and then it came to streaming and I was able to watch the last 2 seasons. I still don't own the last 2 seasons. I need to get them to complete my collection.
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind buying the box set of it for that series.
I love the characters. I love the actors. Overall I liked everybody that was in it. I liked the way that they played them.
It's one of those times where the remake was better than the original, and it was done so brilliantly.
I love the original because it's one of the early shows that I remember watching as a kid, and just falling in love with. And that's one of my first sci-fi shows was Battlestar Galactica, and then Battlestar 81 or whatever it was. Where
Battlestar Galactica only had 1 season, so I think it was only 1 season. It might have been 2. But I think
they had the spin-off show.
And then the spin-off show, right?
Like Battlestar 82 or 81, something like that, where they had the motorcycles that would turn into the Vipers. And dude, I had I had a bunch of the toys. I had the Vipers and the Cylon Raiders and all that stuff.
It's good stuff, man. I mean, and it was classic and it was different. I mean, like I remember one of the things that I liked about it is like they had their own language for things. You didn't have hours and seconds and whatnot. They had their own words for time. You didn't have dollars. Well, sure, frack was established in the news show, but in the original show was when I was like, I remember as a kid realizing, wow, they don't use minutes and seconds. It was just, I thought that was a pretty cool touch.
And everything was very Egyptian.
Yes, Egyptian, in style for a lot of the things, like their helmets had a very Egyptian look, but then they had Greek and Roman like names, Apollo, and Athena, and some of the other like just I can't remember all of them, but a lot of the character names were those kind of things. So I thought that was very cool. And then honestly too, if you really are a purist of the new of Battlestar Galactica, also check out Caprica, which is the prequel show that it only lasted a season, but I found that to be really interesting too, because it ended up giving, I think it was only one, but it might have been two, but I think it was only one, but it gave us a lot of backstory and it
was only one season.
Yeah, there's a lot of backstory as to about the culture and about the colonies and just the things, interesting stuff about the world building of Battlestar Galactica before the show. So it was pretty cool. We're gonna move on here.
That was her.
What?
The main girl from Caprica.
Yeah.
Was one of Raj's girlfriends in Big Bang. She's Claire, the bartender.
Oh.
I'm like, holy shit, that is her.
I didn't remember that one. So so moving on, number 15, we have Atlanta. From 16 to present. It's from the funny footballer on Community to his career as Childish Gambino. Donald Glover has done many things, yet the highlight of his ambitious CV is Atlanta, a remarkable series that captures the discontent mood of its protagonist as he tries to survive in America, whether that's working at an airline or helping his cousin become a superstar rapper while also sponging off him. Atlanta may be seemingly grounded in realism, yet Glover also gives the world a minute sci-fi twist. Invisible Cars, anyone? Helping cement this as one of the greatest postmodern shows around. I haven't watched it, but again, I've heard good things. And Donald Glover, he's a hell of a talent. So if I get around to it. Number 14, moving along. Number 14, years 04 to 12, House. House starts as
that was a great show.
Yeah, it starts off as both a Sherlock Holmes riff and the ultimate irascible genius show. That's all fun, especially the home stuff, but as the series goes on, it shifts gear into a discussion on mortality, the joys and horrors of the medical life, and the burden of intelligence. Hugh Laurie turns in staggering work, but is matched beat by beat by one of the best casts in history. I gotta tell you, I've always liked medical dramas, and I think House was easily one of the best that there's been.
Yes.
I was a huge fan of ER. I've always loved medical drama, and that one was incredible. Well acted, a good blend of drama and comedy, or humor, not so much comedy, but humor. It was really a great show. Number 13, from 1963 to present, what would you say the show is, Chris?
From 13
From
to
1963 to present, the show you're a fan of.
Oh, Doctor Who.
Of course, Doctor Who. Doctor Who's appeal is obvious. It's a show that can go anywhere and do anything. And while other shows wear out their popularity, Who's unique central character, an alien time traveler who changes his entire identity every time he dies by regenerating, ensures that it's built for longevity, where most sci-fi shows aim for cult status. Who is inclusive, appealing to adults, kids, and grandparents alike. It's a global phenomenon now, but at home in the UK, it's something greater, a national treasure.
Great
never
show.
been a big fan of Doctor Who, but I have watched a number of shows, and every time I've watched it, particularly the modern shows, starting with like the Chris Eccleston years, I've been entertained a great deal. I just have never gotten around to kind of watching the whole damn thing. It's just, there's so much, and there's just so much to watch. I just don't have time, unfortunately.
Yeah, I actually have to go back and watch some of the. I have to watch the last few seasons. I actually really need to go back and watch the Capaldi episodes, because I actually stopped watching at the end of the Matt Smith era, which I was really surprised to see him in House of the Dragon.
Yeah,
you can't miss that Easter Island face, but
you're terrible. I'm making fun of that man. He can't control his Easter Island face.
He's got a head of like looking like it belongs on Easter Island. But yeah, I'm curious to see where they're going to go now. That the original showrunner's coming back and stuff. So I'm curious to see where that goes.
Well, number 12, we have a show called The Leftovers. Damon Lindelof took all the best elements of Lost, the mysteries, the diverse group of misshapen characters, and condenses them into a packed HBO series. Yep. From 14 to 17, the first season adapts Tom Perrotta's book, which looks at the world after 2% of the population mysteriously disappears, while the second and third go far beyond the source material, while still never offering us an answer to the question, where did the missing go? By avoiding the answer, we get a TV series that focuses on PTSD, depression, and how humanity deals with loss. Yes, that sounds like a difficult watch. It is, but an immeasurably valuable and riveted one as well. When you think about that, we got 8 billion people in the world. 1% of 8 billion is what? 8 million?
Yeah.
Yes. No. Isn't it 80 million?
No, it'd be 8 million.
Because a billion is 1,000 million.
Yeah, you're right.
A billion is 1,000 million, right?
Let's see. So we have 8. Let's see, there's 1,000, million, billion times 0.2, so 2%, because that's what it says, right? 2% disappeared. That is 1.6 billion people disappeared.
No, that's not. It can't be.
Oh, wait, that's 20%.
That's 20%.
So
you got to go 0.02.
Yeah.
Times 0.02.
Let's see. Let's go back. Clear everything. 8,000 million billion times 0.02. That's what I need. 160 million.
It's 160 million people just suddenly disappear from the face of the earth for no explanation. That's the entire populations of entire countries. That's an incredible amount, because when you really think about it, you just get 2%. What's that a big deal? No, that's a lot of fucking people, man. Holy shit. That is a lot. So I never thought about that, but man, that must have been kind of I have to look into that show. That sounds like it would be really fucking cool.
I knew some people that watched it and they said it was pretty good. I never watched it myself. I didn't have HBO at the time.
All right. So I'm going to have to look into that. Number 11, we have the X-Files from 93 to 02, and then again from 16 to 18.
Yeah, the new one wasn't so great, but the original X-Files, up until Mulder left, was absolutely a fantastic show. I loved that show. When Mulder left, I lost interest and stopped watching.
One of these days, I'm going to get around to streaming that show, because I didn't watch it really much when it was on originally. I was watching a lot of other things. You just can't watch everything. But when I watched it from time to time, I was always entertained by it. I just never had the time to sit down and really give it its due. So I do want to get around to it eventually. And I did. I was inspired again to do it even more so when they brought it back again. So I have to check that out. I always enjoyed it.
I started watching it when they brought it back, and it just was not the same. They did, the chemistry wasn't there like it was back in the 90s.
Right, exactly. That's what I had heard. But
I did watch the movie though.
Yeah, I did see the movie. Last 10, we got number 10. We have The West Wing. Again,
Renee has said great things about that show. She loves that show.
Supposed to be really good. 99 to 06. That a lot of people consider it one of the, obviously it's in the top 10, but an incredible cast of characters, incredible group of actors. Allison Janney.
I heard it's a great political drama.
Martin Sheen. We had Rob Lowe. Just so many great actors on this show from 99 to 06. God, that show is over 20 years old now.
Yep.
Really great. But, they said it was one of the best government dramas that we've ever seen. And I think a lot of people have considered Martin Sheen's president, Jed Bartlett, as one of the best fictional presidents there's ever been on TV. Number 9, we have Twin Peaks from 90 to 91 with an additional new season in 17. The hottest show of 1990 is still the hippest show on this list. David Lynch and Mark Frost's mystery series is the story of a murder in a none too quirky North American town, but while Peaks is often daft, it is a true heart of darkness with sexual abuse, drugs, and apparent demonic possession, all lurking beneath the show's 50s style facade. Its comeback in 17 took things to another level. Stella actually had me sit down and watch this show. I watched the first 2 seasons and I was like, okay, I kind of get it, but it was still.
I'm not a Lynch fan.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I really think that you got to be stoned to watch Lynch stuff. So
that helps.
I've never watched any of the Twin Peaks stuff.
Right.
And honestly, Kyle MacLachlan is just weird.
Well, particularly in that show, it's weird. So
dude, he's weird in everything.
He's supposed to be weird.
He's weird in How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
As the captain.
Weird. He's weird in a lot of stuff. He's weird on Portlandia. He was kind of weird. He was on a season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I was saying he's on S.H.I.E.L.D. He's weird. He's just weird.
Yeah. So he was Calvin Zabo. He was supposed to be Hyde. So it was very strange. Number 8, one of the best shows I've ever watched, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. From,
yes.
90s,
I was waiting for that one. So
yeah, having it up here. I was a little bummed that Angel wasn't at least close, but I think a lot of people just tie Angel and Buffy together.
Yeah,
since they were
I think so too.
Much companion shows. Joss Whedon's tale of a teen drama anthropomorphized as demons has a special place in our hearts. It changed TV for the better, leading the way in the feminizing of the sci-fi genre while being action-packed, laugh out loud funny, and shot through with tragedy. The effects and slang have dated, but the show's writing remains as sharp as Mr. Pointy.
Dude, I'm watching it again right now. When I paint, I put Buffy on.
That's great. Yeah, I've been meaning to get around to it. I have all the DVDs. I won't even stream it. I know, but I won't even do. I'll pull out the DVDs just for nostalgia's sake.
See, I don't have to get up and go change DVDs. It's one of those things where I love that show. That is one of my all-time favorite shows. It's actually how you and I started becoming friends. Was when you would come over to Kelly's house, Kelly and I's house, and watch Buffy and Angel. But yeah, that show is to this day still, I think, fantastic. And well, yes, some of the stuff is dated. A lot of it is still relevant. I mean,
still very relevant.
It really is a show about growing up.
Yeah.
And the trauma that you have as a teenager. It's just shown through the lens of vampires being that trauma.
Yep. Absolutely. Moving on, but to move on.
And in some ways, I think Angel was a superior show to it by the end.
I agree. I think there were a lot of things on the Angel show that were superior in some ways. But I also think by the time Angel rolled around too, I was substantially older, and I think I just it resonated a little bit more with me than the teenage stuff, So even though Buffy had aged out of high school and gotten into the college age and stuff like that, and I was probably a little more her contemporary at that. I probably fell in between, honestly, because if Buffy started in 97, I was like 23. 24, something in there. Yeah. So I would probably have fallen in between.
It was a mid-season replacement in 97. So it came out in January of 97. So
right. So number 7, Star Trek, the original series. Now, personally, from 66 to 69, it ran. Personally, I would feel that in the Star Trek franchise, there are much more superior shows. In fact, I would say like Next Gen and Stranger Things and DS9 are much better shows than the original Star Trek. But
Strange New Worlds it's only got its first season, and it's not going to make this list because this list came out before they.
Of course, I'm just saying that in Star Trek shows.
But I agree with you. I don't know about DS9, although I've never been a big fan of the original series. I actually kind of want, after talking with Renee, I kind of want to go back and watch DS9 again.
You should.
But her and I had started rewatching Next Gen because she's never watched it. Like she's caught episodes here and there, but she's never actually watched Next Gen.
Honest to God's man, DS9 was some of the strongest Star Trek we saw in that era. It was amazingly good, particularly after Worf joins the show. When Worf joins the show, there's a substantial jump, a substantial improvement in the writing and the characters.
Well, yeah, and then that's when they wind up with the Dominion War and all that stuff, and they
developed the Klingons more, and I mean it was just
and they stop. They don't just stay on the station anymore. There's a lot more travel. They get the Defiant, and they actually start flying around because they realized that's what that show was missing. Was people wanted them to be mobile
a little bit more. I mean, they were cool having a base of operations. I think the fans were like, they liked DS9. They liked the fact that there's a base of operations, but they did want to see Sisko and Worf and the cat and the crew going out. They wanted their war bucky. They wanted their ability to be able to go out and be aggressive again. And that's what it happened.
Well, let's face it. The Defiant was a warship.
Yeah,
it was built to fight the Borg.
It was the first Starfleet vessel that was built exclusively for combat.
Yep.
It was not an exploration vessel. It was not a science vessel. It didn't have like the amenities that you would need for long-term travel, like the Enterprise or Voyager. It
was a fighter ship.
It was a fighter ship. It didn't have a holodeck. It didn't, it was built for combat.
It was basically a destroyer.
Yeah. Yeah, a destroyer class, for sure.
Yep.
So that being said, the original series did definitely blaze the trail and started off a lot of things. And there's some wonderful things about it. It was a groundbreaking series, as we talked about at the beginning of the show today. Nichelle Nichols was a member of the cast, and now the only ones we have left are Shatner, Takei, and Walter Koenig. So of the original cast, but it was just an amazing show, particularly of its time. And if you want to see, I mean, I highly recommend it, particularly if you are a Star Trek fan. It gives you can give you perspective as to where the show started and how much it's grown. So moving on, I want to kind of get these last couple ones out of the way. Yep. Number 6, one of the greatest fantasy shows of all time that unfortunately did also end a little disappointingly. We have Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was one of those shows that it was just incredible. It started, and for most of the seasons were really great. I mean, people were just like incredible. But then, of course, the show eventually progressed to the point that was beyond the source material, and they had to kind of make up their ending because they couldn't wait for the author to finish it up.
Yeah.
And so the end was, for many people, somewhat disappointing.
I thought it was. I think part of that show was that even in the books, I thought that it grew too much and it got out of control. I think at a point, George R.R. Martin kind of lost control of the scope that he was doing.
Right.
And it got too big. And with HBO, they got to the end of that source material and they kept expanding. And I think that was part of the problem, was there was no way to rein it back in at that point.
Yeah. I agree. And it was one of those, I think it had grown so powerful too. I mean, like HBO had no choice but to continue it.
Yeah.
I mean, the fans would have just freaked out if they just said, sorry guys, we got to stop. We gotta wait for George R.R. Martin to fucking finish this up.
And he's never going to do it now. Now that they've done the finish the series on HBO, he will never write those books.
So that's I've heard that he's working on them, but
I've heard he's working on other things.
Well, I don't know. It says the final season may have received some blowback for certain character arcs, but everything before then was pure magic. And it was really well done. It was that last season that a lot of people kind of rebelled on it. So number 5, we have the longest running scripted television show of all time. Chris, do you got a guess on this one?
Is it animated?
It is
Simpsons.
The Simpsons, absolutely, from
I'm like,
1989
I'm like, it's got to be
present.
The Simpsons if it's animated.
Right. There was a period in the 90s when nothing on television was better than The Simpsons. This yellow-skinned family of troublemakers resonated with people across the globe. The humor was silly enough for kids, and the struggle of Homer and Marge relatable to every parent the world over. The fact that The Simpsons is still going after suggests there remains a hearty appetite for the townsfolk of Springfield. Despite its advanced age, it's so gleefully submersive, and it managed to attract the A-list crowd for guest voice duties. Now, I haven't watched The Simpsons in over a decade. I could care less about The Simpsons at this point.
I have not watched it regularly in at least that long, but every time I do catch an episode, it still fucking makes me laugh.
Yeah. I mean, hell, even just watching just the Treehouse of Horror episodes.
Oh yeah, those are my favorites. I try and catch those every year.
When you do the math, I mean, it's 30 plus episode, or 30 plus years. So there's an episode, I believe, for almost every season.
Yep.
And that's at roughly 20 minutes a piece. I mean, let's see, 30, that's like 10 hours. That's 10 hours of just that episode. It's incredible, man. The show is the fact that the writers are still going, the fact that the actors are still doing the voices. I mean, it's incredible to me.
Yeah, they've lost some of the voices along the way. Like
they've lost a few.
Phil Hartman, when he passed, they retired all of his characters.
Yep, they certainly did. So still, you know, the benchmark for you know, primetime animated shows. Yep. I mean, when you really think about it, I mean, yes, were there primetime animated shows before The Simpsons? Sure. Technically, the Flintstones were on primetime originally back in the 60s, but none have been as successful as The Simpsons.
Yep.
So number 4, moving on, last couple here, we got number 4, The Wire, a show that ran on HBO from 2002 to 2008. I have never watched it, but so many people talk about this show being one of the best shows on television and easily one of the best cop shows ever made.
I heard it was good.
I'd like to get around to it eventually, but I do like cop shows, but
me too.
I just haven't had a chance. Number 3, another show that ran from 7 to 15 that I used to watch here and there a little bit, and I do appreciate it. I did always appreciate the aesthetic, was Mad Men.
Never watched it.
The 60-set saga of advertising men who are sometimes bad men and indeed sad men is low on action, but unparalleled in the depth of its characterization. Don Draper, an exceptional John Hamm, is brilliant in his job, but useless in his personal life. Initially characterized by boozy office meetings, decadent fashions, and depictions of casual sexism, the show charts the decline of the old ways and the dawn of a new, more egalitarian culture, haunting and often very funny. And it's one of those shows, too, where because it's set in the 60s, you see people smoking.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. You never see that on TV anymore. You never see people like, you know, lighting up a cigarette.
Yeah, and CD, that's what I've heard too, is it is like the epitome of the 5 martini lunch.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. The epitome of it. It's just the it was really, I mean, it was a bygone era. It was one of the best examples of that bygone era of, you know, when men were men and women were made to be punching bags.
To look pretty and stay in the kitchen.
And stay in the kitchen. Yeah, it was terrible. So last couple ones here, but it was a great show. I mean, if you want to see an amazing acting and storytelling and some really, really great stuff, definitely check that out. So the last 2 here, both shows that I binge watched a couple years ago. I think it was 2 years ago now. I'd never gotten around to it. And everybody was talking about how wonderful it was, how incredible it was. And I finally got to watch it. Breaking Bad from 2008 to 2013.
Yeah. Still on my list. Have not watched it.
It's funny thinking of Breaking Bad and its all-conquering franchise. For most of its run, it was barely watched at all. But then somewhere around season 4, the mainstream started to take notice. The story of Walter White, a genial high school chemistry teacher who starts cooking crystal meth following a terminal cancer diagnosis, is a bleak but hilarious crime epic. Walt epitomizes Bad's genius. As each season progresses, you find yourself thinking, right, I'm done with this guy. But Bryan Cranston's remarkable performance means that even at his most despicable, and it gets pretty low, You can always see the lethally pragmatic point of view, and it is incredibly well done. I highly recommend Breaking Bad. I mean, it is one of those shows that's extremely heavy, though. It's like, it's not quite as bad necessarily as watching, like binging Walking Dead, but this show is incredible. Like, Chris, I mean,
Renee started watching it and she said it was fantastic.
It really is fantastic. You gotta give it a time. And then, like, on my plan, I'd love to start binging Better Call Saul, which is the prequel to it, and I hear that's also extremely good. So Breaking Bad, incredible show. Number one, do you got any guesses?
No, I have no idea what it could be.
99 to 07, it's an HBO show.
99 to 07, HBO show. I'm not sure. I don't remember everything that we covered before. So, I don't know, 6 Feet Under?
Nope. We've already covered that one.
I thought we did. And even CD said 6 Feet Under.
It's the story of
The Sopranos.
My people in New Jersey.
The Sopranos.
Right, exactly. The Sopranos. Number one, considered by this list the number one show of all time. The Sopranos revolutionized television, bringing movie-style production values to the small screen and helping put HBO back on the map. Following James Gandolfini on formidable form as Tony Soprano, the series details the life of a Brooklyn boss, a New Jersey boss, as he attempts to navigate a changing world. While showrunner David Chase shows an obvious love for The Godfather and Goodfellas, The Sopranos goes deeper by allowing us into Tony's mind, thanks to the ingenious move of having his great anti-villain visit a psychiatrist every episode. Now, it wasn't every episode, it was almost every episode, but there were a few episodes that did not feature Dr.
I have not watched one episode of The Sopranos.
Wow. That's not to say there aren't the usual gangster hijinks. There are murders aplenty, but the action always gives us insight into troubling characters rather than reveling in cheap thrills or egregious violence. The Sopranos, after all, is perhaps best surmised by its anticlimaxes. Just when you think Tony's world is about to erupt, something will happen, and somehow the problem almost always sorts itself out in an unexpected way. There have been dozens of imitators, but none have been able to take the Sopranos ground. And I gotta say, I don't know if it's worthy of number one show of all time. That's a very difficult crown to have. But it's definitely in the top 10. It's definitely one of the best shows I've ever watched. Stella and I are binging the very last season. We've been slowly doing it. We need to get back to it. She doesn't like to watch it late because sometimes it gives her nightmares. But it is and just an amazingly good show. The Sopranos. If like, honestly, the last couple ones here that because I can relate to watch both Breaking Bad and watching and how much I enjoyed these, I would have to say, dude, you should move those up to the top of your list. Particularly, I mean, after you get around maybe some of the newer stuff we're watching right now, and you get a chance to kind of go back.
I've been doing Supernatural, and I just finished season 5, so I've only got 10 more seasons to go before I get done with that, and then I can start watching something else. So,
man, that's a slog, dude. You're gonna do 15 seasons of Supernatural all at once, shit. But
Expanse first. Yeah, Renee and I need to get back to Expanse. We're in the middle of season 2 right now.
Yeah, and they did finish that one too. Yeah. That one's done too, from what I understand. So.
Both of us are loving The Expanse.
It's great stuff.
It is.
I got to get back to it too.
So, well, we should wrap things up.
We should wrap things up. It is. We went a little longer tonight to finish up that list, but
dude, this is not longer than what we've been going the last few weeks. We've been at 2 hours or more the last month.
I know. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for everybody hanging out, talking. We had we had a bunch of friends on tonight. It's really great to see them. Thanks again, CD, for joining us, and Electric Ronin, and Auntie Dawn was around for a bit. Of course, Wings Cook, man in the chat there.
From the actual nerd
moderating basement. Our chat.
From the actual nerd basement.
Yeah, from the actual bird basement. Guys, this Friday night, Tavern Nights back again. We're going to be playing the D&Ds Friday night
in the nerd
at
basement.
7:30 in the real nerd basement. So be sure to join us. Chris, we put that up on here on the Twitch channel, and then Chris will put it up on YouTube when he can. I know he's a little
I'm catching up right now.
So be sure to join us for this Friday night. Guys, you can stream and or download all of our shows from all the places you find quality podcasting, the Google Play Store, the Apple Store, iTunes anyway. You can also get us on Spotify, on Odyssey, the Odyssey app, on iHeartRadio, radio.com. You can also download, stream all of our shows at nerdswithalcoholshow.com.
Yep. You can follow us on most of the social medias. We're on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show. We are on Twitter at Drinking Nerds and Instagram, Drinking Nerds. And then you can find us on YouTube, Drinking Nerds. Pretty much search for Drinking Nerds anywhere and you'll find us. So
absolutely.
All right. Well, I think that's going to about do it.
That should do it.
So on that note. Until next time. Slancha. That was pretty good. All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Good night.